Hi, I'm Jessica,
And I'm Tracy,
and this is She's on Top, the place where we celebrate and elevate women.
and this is our series, The New Normal.
And today we're super excited to be talking to Joanna Track, the founder of The Bullet. Hey, Joanna.
Hi, so good to see you guys.
You too.
Yeah, hi Joanna. I'm a huge fan of The Bullet. I read it every morning. It's like I open my eyes and the first thing I do is like The Bullet. And it's my Can you just tell people who don't know, what is a bullet? What do you do?
Absolutely. Yeah. So The Bullet is a daily email publication where we round up the top news headlines in an easy to read format. We always say we do it with a dose of humor to make it easier to digest. Given the world we're currently living in, that's become more vital than ever.
And for people who don't know, if you look on our channel, we actually did 2 amazing videos with Joanna. So if you want a further in-depth look to what she does, you can watch those. But Joanna, has anything changed for you with this? Well, it's changed for everybody. That's a silly question. How has it changed? What are you finding?
So, the positive that has happened for us is that, like I said, people now more than ever are, interested in the news, but also really overwhelmed by a lot of the sensationalism and drama that is in a lot of the traditional news. So what we're able to provide is that really quick, concise hit of what you need to know and then move on with your day. So what we have seen is a massive, significant jump in our open rates and our engagement.
Wow.
Over double. So,
Wow.
and
Amazing.
where the average person used to read it about 2 to 3 times a week, we're seeing upwards of 5 times a week for the average reader. So, despite that, I wish it hadn't happened this way. We're really proud that more people are paying attention and loving us. And also the feedback we've been getting from our readers is so phenomenal and heartwarming. So that's been a positive. Obviously, like everyone else, we monetize that business through sponsored content and advertisers. And I wouldn't say it's completely dried up, but it has slowed significantly. So we've been trying to get creative in the different ways that we can, keep money coming in so that we can keep publishing.
And what are some of those ways that have any ways worked for you? So we can all benefit.
How can we help you? What can we tell people?
Thank you. Well, I think that, what we've done is we started a pay what you can promotion of sorts. So welcoming advertisers, like if you hadn't been sure about whether the Bullet was the right fit for you, now's a good time to test it. Let us know what you can spend and we'll figure out a way to get your message out through the Bullet. So I encourage anyone who's interested in learning. We have so many different ways and at pretty much any budget level that we can help people. And I think brand awareness is now equally or more important than ever to stay on people's minds. And there are a lot of businesses that could really, benefit from getting out there. Another major thing that we did was we reached out to our readers because for almost 4 years, we've been publishing the Bullet and we do it for free because we, like I said, monetize through advertisers. But we actually reached out to our community and said, we want to keep this going. We want to keep it free. But right now, my team of 4 incredible women who work with me had offered to go without pay.
Wow.
And, that's a beautiful thing, but they're working harder than ever. And I was very transparent with my audience and I told them that. And so I wouldn't call it fundraising because it wasn't a donation, but we asked our readers to make a contribution, whether through a small subscription amount as low as $5 a month or just a one-time contribution for receiving the Bullet. And we were mind blown by the response and it felt really special. And thanks to that, we are going to go uninterrupted at least through May. And hopefully by then we get some normalcy back and we'll keep doing what we were doing before.
I was just going to say, because I am a huge fan of the Bullet, that for anybody watching this, what I love about it is I wake up in the morning and I love the way you write it. It's very concise. It's not sensationalized and you get to know what's going on. But sometimes I don't want to be inundated with a million things. So I can read the Bullet every morning and I don't have to turn on the news the rest of the day and see a lot of the stuff that's so overwhelming and gives me nightmares and makes me really anxious. So it really is amazing what you're doing.
I was going to say that too. And I also love that you guys, for me, inject a little humor and quirk when it's appropriate because
everybody needs a laugh.
Oh my God. It's like such a relief. And I was going to say, we signed up, I subscribed monthly because I'm finding there's certain publications, yours is one of them, and there's a couple of others that I really appreciate, whether it was you guys doing the filter or for me, there's certain ones that have kind of stories I like. And I have no problem like substituting. I mean, I can't go get my coffee right now at whatever coffee shop. So I'm like, for $5 or $10 a month, no problem. Right. Like, I think that's a really doable.
No, and yeah, you too. I know you contributed and I'm so thankful. And I think, you know, we know what financial hardship so many people are in right now. So that's why it meant even more to us that people, you know, made that sacrifice to send some of that money our way. And now we're even more motivated to deliver the best product.
That's great. One thing we always ask somebody is there something that you've learned either personally or through work that you could, you know, share with people who are watching this, whether it's with their business or even their personal lives? Any tips would be great. I see your son there in the background.
No, I just did the cow. So sweet.
Hi, Teddy.
He didn't even state that. He wants to be on television.
He can be on television too.
It's all good. Oh, he's like behind the chair.
You can come join.
Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I knew this, but I really had to put it into practice. You don't ask, you don't get. I've always been afraid, especially to ask our readers for something, because our brand promise was delivering the bullet for free. So it felt not hypocritical per se, but just weak a little bit. But then when I saw the response and sort of realized, you know, it's a value exchange. It wasn't a pity donation. Not that there's anything wrong with that either, but I realized, you know, yeah, you got to put the asks out there. And I mean, it comes to so many areas of business. I spend most of my day involved in the business on the sales, business development side. And especially in the first week of staying home, I felt so uncomfortable. I'm like, how can I possibly reach out to brands and media companies and ask them for money when everyone's just trying to figure out like which end is up? But then I realized it's more the how. And you know, for me, you know, cold calling on people right now doesn't feel entirely appropriate, but posting on LinkedIn tips and suggestions and how sponsored content can help is my way of selling in this new normal.
I would say also too, the beautiful thing is I do think that there's a ripple effect. I think the vulnerability it takes to do what you did opens, I mean, somebody watching goes, okay, everybody's struggling. People that I really admire are struggling. So that makes it okay for me to reach out where I need to. So I actually think it's great, because otherwise, you know, if we all pretend like things are going well that when they aren't, then that's gonna, you know, that doesn't have a good ripple effect.
Well, yeah, I mean, you always say, you know, you don't believe anything you see on Facebook or social media. And I think to an extent that is true. And a lot of the feedback I also got, because the ask came out of an email that was written by me and signed by me. I've now sent a couple to the audience. And a lot of the feedback I got was that people were so admired the transparency and honesty. They said, you know, a lot of brands, they don't speak so from the heart. It's more of a brand message. So I would encourage others to just, you know, put it out there.
I love that. I know Jess and I have talked about it. You feel you don't want to ask for anything because everyone's struggling, but I guess all people can do is say no. And if you ask in a heartfelt way and you allow people to say yes or no, then that can work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do we have a little bit of time, Trace? How are we doing?
A couple of minutes, and then I think we're going to wrap it up.
And also, we're getting everybody to share too personally. How are you feeling personally, physically, or whatever? Because we love talking to everybody. Tracy and I were talking about this morning about we aren't two women who are doing exercise videos. we, you know, maybe it's because we're doing this during the day, but it's like trying to manage the guilt. You sort of think, is there something wrong with me? But this is real trauma that we're all going through. Like Tracy also shared an article with me this morning saying we're in a war. We've got fight or flight chemicals kicking off in our bodies. Absolutely. So. Just how are you feeling?
So radical transparency and honesty. The first week to 10 days was very rough for me. I mean, I've always had anxiety and I've dealt with it in various ways. I was really having trouble getting out of bed, focusing on anything, just feeling like the sky was falling. I was less concerned with my health and the health of those around me, but more the financial stability for me, my son, my employees. I really couldn't sleep at night. I kind of leaned into it. I just sort of said, I have to like deal with the trauma. And then slowly, like I didn't all of a sudden wake up one day and do a 180, but like I went for a 20-minute walk. I did 20 minutes. I have a Peloton. I started like slowly getting back into things. And now I am trying to do some form of exercise every day because I feel for my mental health, it really, really does make a difference. And as the sun starts to come out in Toronto, it's easier. I was feeling guilty about having a glass of wine every night. But instead of feeling guilty, I've now also leaned into it and said, you know, I deserve it. And just, you know, trying to do the best I can. I was telling someone else that, you know, in the early days, I was making my list of like the 5-10 things I had to get done in the day, and then feeling like a failure every time I couldn't get through 2. And now my list isn't more than usually 3 things. And that way I feel more better about myself, that, you know, I set more realistic expectations. And then in the end, actually more ends up getting done because you don't feel so badly about yourself.
That's true. Yeah, that's so true. We were in the same journey as you, the exact same thing, and just realizing what's important and how much you can get done in a day. What I find too is because you're working from home, there's no separation now between work and home. So if you don't turn off the computer at 5 or 6 o'clock, or say my weekends are, you know, off limits, it all meshes into one, and you never really seem to relax. You're always sort of like thinking you should be doing something.
And yeah, no, I think I'm going to have a new appreciation when this is over, like, well, of going to the office, but also the in-between times, the drive to work, the walk from the parking lot to the office, like that stuff is gone now. And that was the sort of, in a way, the self-care, the meditative, the fresh air. And now, like you said, one thing bleeds into the next and you don't have the in-between. And I think one of the things I've learned is the in-between is just as important. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. This was really great.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I will put links to the bullet below in our YouTube description. And if there's any other way we can help you, just let us know. And it was amazing talking to you. And thank you for the bullet, because it's
thank you for
guys.
The bullet. Yeah.
Thank you for what you do.
All right.
All right.
Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.